Okay, so if you were to only look at this sheet, you might assume that Salieri probably isn't that good of a looper, especially since Ranmaru is here right next to him with like running the same exact setup. That is as far away from the truth as it can possibly be. Ranmaru, whenever I try to start her from zero, always has refund issues no matter what. From what I just tested with Salieri, and if you don't know, Chaldea Laplace, whatever number it shows to you, that is the minimum roll. It's the min roll, not as high as it possibly be, or an average. From what I remember, this should always be the the lowest possible number. As you can see here, just against this random trash mob, the damage scales from as low as 195,000, saying as low as, but goes all the way up to almost 240,000. And this is wave 2 damage. For a lot of buster units, that is like what their turn 3 damage is. So I'm just putting that out there right now. This buff Salieri was honestly exactly what he needed, and I might actually put him in EX as a farmer, because his refund numbers will fucking surprise you, especially because he has a 3-hit MP. In general, those tend to be like servants that are only refunding about, I want to say, like 30%. No, sorry, not 30%, like 80, 70, like around that range. Like they're using that Castoria's sorry, you're using Castoria's 30% usually to get those servants like back up to full. Salieri, not the case. This guy can loop 100%. This is obviously neutral numbers, but he's an Avenger. He's always going to be looping neutral. But enemies with, what is this, like 30,000? No, this is really, really low HP. Never mind. I don't want to use these. This wave, one enemy is, I believe, like 60,000. Yep, 60,000. So this is like way more realistic for what Salieri actually would be refunding. And in this run, I was able to double pop Castoria MP like fairly easily. For how his refund is, you probably could do it 3 times. I'm not, especially for, like going to wave 3, he was short 10%. Oberon first skill took care of it. So if you have another Castoria, you might actually have an abundance of charge that Salieri could get away with 3 Castoria pops. Which, again, as a welfare, and the fact that he does not have attack buffs in his own kit, it's only going to help him. Now, all of his scaling, because he like works really, really well with Castoria, might want to grail him a little higher, so those attack buffs matter a lot more. But in general, like, I'm not gonna lie, his damage looks really, really, really fucking good for a 3-star. Again, I know I'm using Black Rail, and this is double Castoria Oberon, but that damage still is like very impressive for a 3-star. So yeah, let's get talking about this. Currently, tier list stuff is being exported, so the day I'm recording this should not actually be the day you see this video. Tyra's video should be going out today too. Salieri should be for Sunday. Alright, so base attack. I don't want to get too much into this. I will say at level 100, he looks like the lower end of 5 stars. So not the worst thing, like he is an Avenger. At level 120, he looks like an Avenger, an SSR Avenger at level 90. Take that how you will, whether that's a good or bad thing, that he needs to go to level 120 just to match a level 95 star. But again, take it how you will. Moving on. HP, I'm not going to care too much about this. He's arts, protect him if you really want him to survive. Otherwise, grail him. His grail HP at level 120 is like less than a 5-star, but that's typical for Avengers too. So again, don't feel you need to grail him. I'm just spitting out numbers so you have a better reference point. MP charge 0.7%. honestly, like, him having it this high is probably the reason he doesn't have the refund problems other characters that have 3-hit MPs have. Looking at Kiara and Muramasa, both their MP gains are like 0.6, 0.5. So that probably has a good amount to do with it. Yeah, could this be higher? Sure, but like, from this, like, and I know this is double Castoria. Oh fuck! No, I lost my farming run. Oh well, I had this one anyway. This is without Castoria pops, by the way. And the damage, again, is not that bad. The refund numbers are pretty much still identical. It's just a little bit lower, but essentially the Castoria pops don't change his refund at all. Yeah, like hitting full overkill. So the Castoria pops were literally damage, and two Castoria pops gave Salieri another 40% like end damage. So don't. And I'm pretty sure those are MP1 Castorias too. So don't discount popping your Castoria MPs and farming. I know it adds time to the run, but would you rather make sure everything died or leave an enemy with a little bit more HP to the point that you have to spend more than 4 turns clearing when you could have just like not been lazy and pop Castoria MP? But again, that is user choice. You play the game how you want. I'm just saying like objective facts. That if you pop Castoria MPs, you have a much higher chance of killing your enemies. I don't know who would have ever thought of that, but that is just a truth. He is chaotic evil, so you can use Doman with him, and hit counts, honestly not terrible, but 0.7 with 2 hit arts cards. Yeah, this face card refund was not good, but to be honest, you really didn't want to be using these arts cards in the first place. You really don't, especially if it's not turn 3. Turn 3 is kind of the only time you are safely able to use these. And I only say that because you're using up his own arts buff, which would affect his refund going across waves. So yeah, don't click these cards. First skill, Innocent Monster, 10 stars per turn, crit damage up, 3 attacks, 5 turns. Something you'll note with Salieri, all his buffs, the hit-based buffs are all lasting 5 turns, and they're all on 5-turn cooldown as well. So most of his buffs have 100% uptime, unless you are clicking the cards yourself. This crit damage pretty much went underused though, because critting with Salieri before this buff was extremely annoying to the point that you probably weren't doing it, and it was a detriment to the party. Like his MP buff, he really did need it. Second skill, 3 attacks, 5 turns of arts up, 30%. This is just gonna help give him just better refund, and for the easier waves, he'll just have a much easier time doing it. Third skill, this had already been buffed before. It was just defense down, 3 attacks, 5 turns. Now, star weight and crit damage up for 1 turn, and 2000 star weight and 100% crit damage. I didn't even realize he had this buff, but now he is actually going to be able to utilize the crit damage, because it's not that he wasn't able to before. It's that he had things in his kit that actively hurt him from actually being able to crit. Now, is he going to have the easiest time? No, but he's gonna have a lot easier time, like significantly easier, being actually able to crit on this. So let's get through passives, then we talk about MP buff. MP gen up 16%, and debuff res down for the party 6%. If you have Karen and you don't have Black Rail, slap an Avenger in the back line. Doesn't need to be Salieri, and she gets a free 20% attack buff for literally no other cost. Like, this in farming is literally nothing. You should not be getting debuffed while you farm. If you're getting debuffed while you're farming, it's either you are not 3-turning or your character is debuffing themselves. It honestly would be really funny if you actually got screwed on farming because of this. But I'm just saying the chances of that happening are not. You have to actively be trying to do that. That's how hard it is. You have to be trying to screw yourself over. So just don't worry about this having any effect of you in farming. And CQ boss fight, yeah, be careful of this, but not for farming. Oblivion correction, 8% crit damage. Gauge per turn, 3.3%. This is in Gorgon, so this doesn't matter nearly as much as it does her, but this does kind of help you get past the last hurdles when it comes to refund. Anti-caster, not the worst. This will help you get to overkill against casters a lot easier, so you will get better refund. This is a not a welfare. This is a low star, so the chances of you getting enough servant coins to unlock everything, it is admittedly lower because he is story locked. Wait, is he? Yes. Okay, I had to double check. He is story locked. However, if you ever pull on a GSSR that you can only get, especially Avengers, you will just get a shit ton of copies of Salieri. For me, it is very common to get at least 4 copies of him when I pull on a GSSR. So that is a lot of serving coins. Also, you bond level him, you get more serving coins. Mana loading is the first one you should be going for. This is pretty much only if you're doing Tommo or any kind of cooldown reduction. I have to preface the any kind because his skill cooldowns are so low that you could actually get away with using Atlas for farming and double pop his skills. However, you're probably not doing it on this because you're waiting till turn 3 to do it. So that would be 4, then 2. Yeah, no. You could double pop the arts buff. You can get another 30% arts, but that's pretty much it. Unless you're using it under support. In which no, Castoria's arts up is base 6. Yeah, no, it would have to be base 5. So the Castoria's 20 battery, that would work. That could be double stacked within the time frame. All right, sorry, off on a tangent. But yeah, he is actually able to get away with popping his arts buff twice with Atlas, but I kind of don't recommend it because, as I kind of showed in this farming, his turn 2 damage is a little lackluster, or not turn 2 damage, turn 2 refund is definitely lacking, and unless you have another battery, he's not really going to go up. He would need to be able to pop the arts buff again on turn 2 for this not to matter, and he cannot do that right now. MP buff. I'm glad it looks like this now. I'm glad I did not start this recording too early, that this was not buffed already. So, originally, AoE 3 hit, damage to all enemies, 500% chance to reduce star gen by 20% for 3 turns. Yeah, this is why I said it was hard for him to crit. Not only because he has a 3-hit arts MP, so good rip bozo trying to gen stars from this. It's why he has stars per turn in his kit and a star bomb on his buff. Arts res down was also base 10%, so pretty low, but this wouldn't ever matter like in actual farming because this happened after damage. Now, buff. They got rid of the star gen down. Thank God. And instead they gave him a star bomb of 20 stars. So now he gets 20 stars per turn without worrying about carding at all. So it's probably going to be more like 25 stars because he's not going to gen a lot of stars, especially because he's an Avenger. But he has a chance to gen at least 1 star, I believe. More stuff. They gave him super effective against star attribute, which again also played into this because Napoleon is star attribute. He's always going to be extra class, so the only things you'd really be looking at is rulers and Avengers. I mean, rulers and berserkers, and only 2 berserkers, only 2 rulers that are star attribute. So most of the time he's gonna be neutral. Echon and Castoria are where he finds full effectiveness, but again, he's also a AoE, so you should not be expecting this to do Oonga Booga damage. But star attribute, they come up in nodes. There is not much anti-star attribute. It is Salieri and BB Dubai, and BB Dubai is a power mod. This is super effective. So yeah, I would definitely not choose Salieri over using just someone that has full class advantage. I think class advantage would just do more damage, especially since he is a 3-star compared to your 5-star DPSs. But yeah, the damage is still here. I'm not saying he doesn't have damage. I'm just saying, like, you are not usually looking for AoEs to be doing this kind of damage. Because 100,000, no, 1 million with 2 Castoria pops on 2 enemies, that's a lot of damage. And granted, a lot of this does have to do with the black rail, but I'm saying that this is a point in, like, his data. Like, this is a data point for him. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. Unfortunately, the arch res down still is happening after damage. Womp womp. They didn't want to give him another arts buff, even though they did buff this. They doubled the arch res down, which is, again, it goes from 10% per turn to 20% per turn. So each MP is going to hit harder. In fact, after the second MP, you now have a higher amount of arch res down than you ever did with this arts buff. So yeah, before you needed to MP at least 3 times to wait for this to come off cooldown, and then you would just keep up. But now, like, as an MP spammer, like, if he's just gonna be spamming constantly, like, he's fighting 6 enemies, the final enemy is a caster, his refund is gonna look so good. It's gonna look so good. Bonsi, arts up 10%, party MP gen up 10% while he's on the field. Yeah, like, I'm going over him like he's a 5-star, but, like, this is 5-star damage. This is 5-star damage. If you don't think this is 5-star damage, I'm sorry. Like, what are you talking about? What are you actually talking about that this doesn't look like 5-star damage? Again, absolutely no hate to Jord. This is his list. He does it how he wants. And I don't think he's updated it, probably because life is happening for him, or he's just, like, not into FGO anymore. And again, that's absolutely fine. Take breaks when you need to. I plan on making a data chart like this in the future, and I hope it I want it to have, like, all the different ways a character can farm on it, or all the general ways. So, like, starting from 50, black rail, non-black rail, but still starting from 0, like that kind of stuff. That is going to be an endeavor. But now that the tier list is done and over with, I can worry about that later. If I can get it hooked up to the API, that would be fucking amazing, though, so I don't have to work, like, it would just auto update for damage. But yeah, I will figure that out later. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is a 3-star that just borderline hit coup caster levels, in terms of how much, like, how he feels in comparison to a 5-star. Yeah, peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.